Newcastle's season is going from bad to worse, and as the absentee list starts to grow at St James's Park, I feel that Eddie Howe is getting away with absolute murder. I know that Newcastle's situation is highly unforeseeable with the likes of Sandro Tonali and the injury list that they've built, but when you look at the business that was done in the summer transfer window, it was clear to see that if any bumps in the road did come Newcastle's way, the wheels could fall off, and it does feel like this season is an absolute freefall. But there is a silver lining or two that could save Newcastle season. Eddie Howe made an absolute gaffe of the summer transfer window. In the video today, we're going to have a look at exactly the state of the Newcastle squad, what is missing, what are the silver linings, and how can they actually save the season that they've got, which is currently in freefall. At any point in the video today, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers, and we cannot do that without your support, guys. Jump into the comment section and let me know what you think of Newcastle season to this point. I'll be really excited and really interested to catch up on the comments on this one. And let's just get stuck straight into it. When you see the team sheet for the Newcastle side that played Bournemouth at the weekend, losing 2-0, I'm not going to pick over the bones and the tactical analysis of the team or anything like that. It's mainly the starting 11 and the use of the bench. And that is just really, this is when Newcastle are laying out their plans of the season, they couldn't have possibly imagined that they would have got to this level on their depth chart of doomsday scenario for what is a must-win Premier League game. It's in the formative part of the season where you want to be getting every win you can against any perceived bottom 6, bottom 7 team. Joe Linton's back up front, Matt Ritchie, Emil Kraft are coming off the bench. Miley, who I was actually quite impressed with, by the way, he looked like a bit of a tidy player, and I'll be interested to see how he progresses under Eddie Howe. And, you know, we're big fans of Joe Willock. He's good to see in the team as well. I was quite surprised and quite impressed as well with Lewis Hall. It must be said, the left back. I thought it was a bit unfortunate that he did get subbed off at half time. He looked like a really good professional who has, you know, a lot of promise in the game, it must be said. But this team does not look like a Newcastle team that finished top 4 last year. This does not look like a team that should be striving to get top 4 this season. And it does not look like a team that's got Champions League duties inbound. If we have a look at the actual depth chart that Newcastle have, we've looked at this a few times on the channel. Now, like I said, there's a lot of force majeure that comes into this team, a lot of random acts of God. Sandro Tonali being banned for 10 months, out the picture. The Botman injury is a bit of a mystery as well, so we'll just kind of need to wait and see how it goes there. But if we take the force majeure, which is the Sandro Tonali, out of the equation, and we look at the squad here, the main transfers that Newcastle spent a lot of their money on was 44 million on Barnes, who was supposed to be pushing Gordon, maybe come into midfield for, you know, he's versatile and all that stuff. I get it, he's injured. But let's imagine we didn't sign Barnes for 44 million and Livarmento for about 34, 33 million pounds, something like that. Let's again imagine we didn't pick Livarmento, we didn't sign him in the summer. The general strength and depth of the squad isn't totally different with the team that you see here. We've still got Willock, who could still be doing this kind of role here, fighting with Joe Linton for a spot, fighting with Gordon for a spot. You guys were telling me in the summer that Joe Linton might have been fighting for this left wing position also. Obviously, Eddie Howe didn't fancy that, which is why he went and got Barnes. I understand. By buying Barnes, he helps keep Joe Linton in midfield also. I totally get that. And Joe Linton does have that third layer, like we've seen against Bournemouth. He can maybe play up front. That's his alleged position when Newcastle signed him. But as I say, if you take out 70, 80 million pounds worth of players that Newcastle signed in this summer, it doesn't change anything that we've seen from them this season. It doesn't change anything, even if the guys were fit, really in their depth chart of what they could go on and, you know, juggle multiple competitions, keep the strength of the starting 11 to its absolute peak, try and keep the tempo of the game going for a full 90 minutes by using a really strong bench. Those two signings don't make that much of a difference. And how good is this? The guys at QuintBet have enhanced their UK welcome offer where you can now get a free bet up to £35. It's for new customers to sign up only. You can check out the full terms and conditions on the website, quintbet.com, or by clicking on the link that's in the description of the video. By clicking on that link, you support all the content here at the channel, 23,001, so I thank you in advance if you do so. It looks really impressive to me, but it is 18 plus, and remember folks, always gamble responsibly. Now, I did a video on the channel a week or two ago. I'll link it at the end of this one, going through the targets, the specific people that Newcastle should be trying to sign in the January transfer window to really beef out this depth chart a little bit. But I think when you compare Newcastle to the rest of the Premier League and you particularly look at their transfer business, Eddie Howe has a track record at Bournemouth of really bad transfer business, and that's why even though they spent money for a small team, they never advanced, they never kicked on. It's one of the main things I had reservations around Eddie Howe getting the glamour Newcastle job with all the money at his disposal. Again, Geordies are always telling me that FFP is a real constrictor, a real constraint for Newcastle. So to buy Barnes and Livarmento for, let's say, the thick end of £80 million, never mind adding in Lewis Hong, another left back, for £28 million, you don't have any goals. There's no backup to Gordon. Yeah, Barnes, okay, fine. 44 million backup for Gordon. There was no real backup for Almiron. And Wilson and Isak on paper, if both of them are fit, yeah, cool, I totally get that. But as it pans out, not just one of them, but both of them aren't available. And there's no layer behind that to help the team in the 90 minutes actually keep an attacking presence throughout the game without them wilting and kind of dying out, or to rotate, or if both of them are out, you still have a guy that can play. So, like I say, I just really wanted to drive home. He has absolutely dropped a clanger. Newcastle should right now be in the position that Tottenham or Aston Villa are in the league. And in the Champions League, this is probably the silver lining for me. I did a Champions League prediction on the group of death with Newcastle. Again, I'll link that at the end of this video if you want to go and check it out. But I had you guys nailed on for third place and 7 points with Dortmund running top of the group. So as things stand, I think you guys are right in the driving seat for that last game against AC Milan to beat them at St James's Park and take yourself into the Europa League. Now, that might be a bit of a poison chalice for this Newcastle squad as it sits now, but a Europa League run for Newcastle will give them a real silver lining to their season, because to be quite frank, I don't see you breaking into the top 6 as things stand now. 7th and 8th are going to be really hotly contested. And after finishing 4th and getting into the Champions League group stages this season, it will be a severely disappointing season if Newcastle do not qualify again for Europe or don't have anything to show from this season whatsoever in terms of a cup run or some sort of progression as a club. The Premier League is unforgiving, and as you can see this year, Chelsea are not in Europe, Man United weren't in Europe the year before. These things happen to some top clubs, and this will just become part of the diet for being a top 6, top 10 team now in the Premier League as time goes on, is just my general feeling on it. But at the moment for Newcastle, they want to see continued compounding success, and I think, you know, a lot of FFP has been put down the drain in the summer window. A lot of pressures on the January window, and Newcastle could still just about save their season, maybe with a cup run domestically. We've not spoken about that in the video, obviously, with the Chelsea game on the horizon, or if they were to finish third in the group stages of the Champions League and get into the Europa League. And then some of these injuries might ease up a little bit. The Botman injury, you know, by the time we get to January, February, that might be a bit better. And by the time you get to January, February again, you're hoping that the guys like Isak and Wilson will be firing. So that second stage of the season where maybe the league getting into the top 4 will be beyond Newcastle, and the top 6, top 7 spots will be a real fight till the end of the season. Having a knockout situation like the Europa League or any other cups that might be going on is what it's got to all be about for Newcastle now. So as far as Eddie Howe goes and the fixture list that's upcoming, it's got to be about do as good as you can against PSG. I'm not expecting you're going to get anything in that match, but get ready for the last game against AC Milan, get ready for the cup game against Chelsea, and prepare all your eggs in those baskets to make sure that you can get into the winter period with this real hellish situation, and just cross your fingers you get through it with as many points as possible before you can get to January, before guys come back fit, and before you can sign a couple of reinforcements here or there. Don't forget to comment down below what you think about Newcastle's season to this point. Have they been a success? Have they kind of done well despite all of the situation around them? Or are they spiraling out of control? Are they sinking? On screen now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and retweet, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.